Hi, welcome back to my basement. This is Jeremiah Wolf. And so I just passed the PCAP certification exam, PCAP-31-03, for the Certified Associate in Python Programming certification. So I just wanted to go over a little bit about what my experience was, what I used to study, some lessons that I learned while taking the exam. So let's just do that now. First thing, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual exam. There we go. Or rather, my actual score report. Now, I will say this is, I believe, the worst of any passing score I have ever achieved in the dozens of career certifications that I have taken over the past 20 plus years. My score was 78%. That is a passing score, but it is a barely passing score. I probably won, or I guess I could do the math real quick, but so each question is worth like 2 points. Yeah, so that would be one question. I passed by one question out of 40. There were 40 questions. They were all multiple choice, and they were significantly more difficult than I was prepared for. Significantly more difficult than I was prepared for. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about what I used to study and what I would do differently going forward if I had to do this again, or basically, what I'm recommending that you do. So one of the first things I used to study was this book. Now I had passed the PCEP back last summer, and so I passed the PCEP. Oops, that's not what I want. That's what I want. I passed the PCEP last summer, or early last fall, some late. I think I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And then I got started on the PCAP, and then my wife, who was pregnant, ended up in the hospital. Um, her health was deteriorating rapidly. They had to remove the baby prematurely, and then basically from October 1st, well, from the end of September, so from like September 20 something to like 25 or something, until just a few weeks ago, and today is the 17th of March. So basically, from mid September through the end of February, I have been 100% just focused on the baby and getting him going and all the stuff associated with that. Um, so my studies obviously just disappeared. I stopped studying altogether. So I took the PCEP. I started studying for the PCAP and then was interrupted. And I tried a couple times to sit down to study, but I might get a few hours of studying in, and then things would fall apart because of the baby. Um, so I started a couple weeks ago back studying, and basically what happened was I started studying again. Things were going okay. My son is in daycare now, and but he was only in day. But the problem is with daycare is your kids are just sick all the time because they're exposed to all these other kids. So he was in daycare for like a week. I got some studying done, and then boom, he's sick and he's home for a week. So it's been really, really frustrating. And it is what it is. But it's been very difficult to study. So I think part of that distraction, it has to do with why I didn't do as well as I certainly would have liked. But it is, But I just didn't prepare well enough, or I didn't know how to prepare well enough. Um, there we go. So yeah. So anyway, so because of all that, the first thing I did when I sat down to study for the PCAP again a couple weeks ago was to reread the first third, maybe a half of this book. That kind of reinforced all the basics of Python for me. It's actually a really good book. As far as programming books go, this Introducing Python book from O'Reilly, it's look, programming is a very dry subject. The author does his best to make it entertaining. Obviously it's programming, like he can only do so much, but he still does a pretty good job of making it entertaining and relatable. So I do enjoy this book. I highly recommend it. And then obviously the next thing I did was the Python Institute's own course. Now, if you're not familiar with the course, if you just go to the Python Institute website, go to the PCAP certification page, scroll down a bit, and courses aligned. So here's a course available through Cisco. Obviously, this has not been updated in a while. And then here is the two courses for the PC Essentials. Part 1 is for the PCEP. Essentials Part 2 is for the PCAP. So once you have that, you can come over here and get a list. You can pick the courses you want to do. So I've completed Essentials Part 1 and Essentials 2. However, be aware when you go to the website and you're deciding which course. So Essentials Part 2, Essentials Part 2. There's a newer version. I think it's listed here. Yeah, see PCAP-31-02 and 31-03. So right now 31-03, both of these tests are available. I'm not sure why, but you want to do the 31-03. So this course with this sort of slate color, I'm colorblind, so I'm not sure. That is for the 31-03. It doesn't really say, but it does say version 2 versus okay, so version 2. So you probably want to do this. This is the one you want to do. Let's take a look. So, I went through the whole course, and the one thing I want to point out here is my scores on these quizzes and tests. 100%, except for a couple which were in the mid-90s. And then on the real test, I got a 77 or 78%. So that kind of gives you an idea about this course. The thing about this course, and it's a good course, so I really highly recommend it. It's perfect. It's free. It's completely free. And it's recommended, I think they say it as a 58 hours to complete, which if you do all the labs is probably pretty accurate. You might be able to do it in less time than that, depending on your experience level, how much you can skim over, but it was probably pretty accurate. So now a couple things about this course. One, the practice questions were nowhere near the difficulty level of the actual exam, which really frustrates me. And I'll get to that in a minute. And then 2, there was a lot of weirdness in this course. It was very clear that what they did was they took the old course and they updated it. The problem was the old course itself had several errors in it, typos, errors, things like that. And they were all just replicated in this new course. So I thought that was very frustrating. What they don't have the time to properly test their own courses. Look, I get it. This is a nonprofit organization. They probably have a very small staff who have other full-time jobs. They're probably doing the best they can. I get it. I appreciate all the effort that they are doing. At the same time, if your mission is to educate people on Python, they need to step up their game a little bit. So this is it's good. There's definitely some problems with it, but it's good. If you have access to the Cisco course, maybe that one would be better. I don't know. Okay, so as far as the actual exam and kind of what I learned from it, the one big takeaway for me was that this Python Institute has very much a academic approach to their training material versus what I'm used to in career certifications. So what do I mean by that? Well, career certifications tend to be designed to help you get the certification. So everything about it tends to be, there are some exceptions, there to actually help you succeed. Now, most of my experiences with Cisco and back in the day, Microsoft, CompTIA, I think has a different philosophy. Their philosophy is sell as much training material as possible, so they actually make things more confusing and harder than they need to be. But with Cisco, at least, where I have the vast majority of my experience, their training programs are very much like, hey, what do we need to do to help you succeed? And while at the same time giving you a real training program and making sure their tests are difficult. So it's this really well developed balance that Cisco has achieved, where they're helping you to get the certification and training you, and they still maintain the certifications have real value because they are challenging and difficult. That's like what I consider career certification appropriate. This Python Institute was very much what I would consider like an academic approach, where instead of being training focused, it's more syllabus focused. The test is more focused on the syllabus than on the actual training. So the training is there to kind of give you the basics, point you in the right direction, but they expect you to then go do a lot of self-study on your own to fill in the gaps. That's not how most career certifications work. In my experience with most career certifications, you do this, you read the study material, you do the practice tests, and do the labs, and you should be in a good position to take the exam. With this Python exam, I did the course, I did all the labs, I did all the practice tests, and I was not in a position to succeed. I did barely succeed, but just barely. So I think what's happening here is you have these people, they're kind of coming from, rather than a career mindset, they're coming from an academic mindset. And, I was telling my wife just a few minutes ago, now my wife, she has an advanced degree from an Ivy League school. She knows academia far more than I ever will. But, my experience, I only attended university for 1 year. One of the very first classes I took, day one, the instructor or professor, I think it was a professor actually, walks into the class, and it's like straight out of a movie. He's like, okay, look to your left, look to your right. One of those people will fail by the end of this course. So he has like this pride that he's failing people significantly. A third of the class is going to fail, and he has some sort of pride in that. Where me sitting in the classroom is like, if a third of the people are failing, maybe you're not doing your job. Isn't your job to teach? Like, aren't you here to help me succeed? No, his job in his mind was to make this as challenging and difficult as possible, to weed out the unworthy or whatever. And I kind of feel it's a little bit, not that bad, but a little bit what's going on with this Python Institute. Rather than being like, hey, we want you to succeed, it's more like, hey, we're going to point you in the right direction, but, we're also going to make it hard for you to succeed unless you're willing to do a lot of work on your own outside of what we supply for training material. I'm not saying that's invalid. I just feel like it's unnecessary. Like, why do we need to weed people out? Why not just make training material that helps people pass the exam? Like, if I need to know X, Y, and Z, why not teach me X, Y, and Z instead of just X and Y? You know what I'm saying? Like, why leave stuff out? How does that help anything? I just don't get it. So it's a different mindset. It's a different philosophy. So if you are studying for this, you have to go based on the syllabus, not based on, or the exam objectives, whatever it's called, not based on the training material. That was my mistake. I studied based on training material, and I fell short. Obviously, I passed the exam, but just for me, from a feeling successful point of view, I don't really feel particularly successful. So that's really it. There's not a whole lot to it. 40 questions. You had an hour to take it, and I did it online with Pearson, so I just did it from my home. And if you haven't done that before, it's a pretty simple process. They run a little app on your computer. They send a link to your phone. You download the app for the phone, and then it asks you to take pictures of your surrounding, take pictures of your desktop. You have to have a webcam, and have to take pictures of your ID and all that, and a couple things of note. It's all in, read their fine print, but you're only allowed to have one monitor. So I have two monitors, so I have to take one down. In the past, it's never been an issue. I have like some knickknacks on my desk. or just some junk laying around. Like I have a stack of memory cards for my camera and stuff, or couple thumb drives. In the past, that has never been a problem. I think this is the 5th test I've taken now with Pearson on from home. And this time, though, the proctor did not want anything on my desk. Like, he made me take everything off. Like, how is a compact flash card going to help me cheat? Like, it doesn't. I don't know. Whatever. So whatever. That's that. But okay. So that's it. There's not a whole lot to say. Study, do the course, but then go through the syllabus, and you're going to have to do some supplementary learning. I can't even tell you specifically what it was. I could just say just follow the syllabus. I think it's all there. I didn't do that. So, don't be like me. Do better. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm Jeremiah. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next time.